Greetings and welcome, and today we're going to talk a little bit about how to add content to your Drupal content management system. Today we're looking at a website here that has navigation that exists on something called the primary links that we're going to be talking about in just a minute. But first I want to talk about how to access this content and the administration portion of the site. If you have not already done so, you need to go ahead and log in to your Drupal CMS. And you can do so with a template like this. It doesn't look a whole heck of a lot like Drupal. There isn't a login username and password field, but what there is the ability to log in by simply going to the admin portion of the site. So you can actually highlight this section, type admin, and it's going to take you to something that looks a lot different. And that is because there's a separate template for the administration portion of the site. So what you're going to do is you're going to go up to where it says Content Management, and you're going to go down to where it says Content. You're going to forget about those options that are to the right there, because if you just click on Content, it's actually going to go to that first option, List, and it's going to list the content. Now, something that might strike you right off the bat, but the content that you're seeing is that it is all one content type, 3rivers_products. And when I say content type, what I'm really referring to is kind of a fancier way of saying a category. Okay, now anyone who is, knows their stuff about Drupal would say that is not entirely accurate, and I realize that. But for the purpose of discussion, this is a category, and what you need to think about is that with that category, you're able to organize it in such a way. Now the way that it is not a category is that you can actually make it different than the other content types. So you can actually customize it to be something. And I'm gonna show you what I mean. I'm sorry, you can customize it to contain different fields, to contain different information type. And I'm going to show you what I mean really by comparing this to something else, to a different content type. Now what I did was click the undo button, and now we're showing all content types. Let's take a look at the different content types that you have. You have blog entry, blog page, employee, image, newsletter, page, story, 3Rivers products, and spot treatment. Now, I actually did not end up doing anything with spot treatment. If you do go to this, you're going to see that there's nothing there. But for the rest of these, for 3Rivers products, they're going to have things that, or you could have things like price. You could have an image that is attached to it. If you wanted to have features that were attached to it, those kind of things that may not necessarily apply to something like, say, a page or a newsletter. For a newsletter, something very specific about it, we're going to go ahead and show this right now. With a newsletter, it is literally only showing the PDF that is attached to it. That is the way that it is viewed onto the site. I'm sorry, a title and a PDF. So you see there's really no content involved here. So we're going to go ahead and scroll down. And we're going to go take a look at the file attachments portion. And if you see in file attachments, one thing I want you to think about when you go and you look at any of these sections and you see where there's a little arrow next to it, if you click on it, it actually will expand for you. So here we uploaded this file, okay, and you can either delete it or list it. But the point is that part of this content type is including these file attachments. And it's extremely important for this content type because really all it is just a file attachment. We were less concerned with the any sort of other content that might be involved. So let's go ahead and undo this again. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at pages. Now, when you're looking at content, Drupal lists every single piece of content, which can also include images. So it can be very confusing to sort through everything. For this particular example, we're going to take a look at something where there's several pages of content because there are lots of pages. So you're going to have, on the very bottom here, you're going to have this navigation that's going to allow you to scroll through things. Now let's take a look at where you have all of these categories, or I'm sorry, all of these pages. You could click on one of them. For example, this would take you to the actual page, whereas if you click on edit, you're going to be able to edit this page. Now, something that's really important about these pages that we've created is that if we were to go look at the main part of the site, which we will right this second, if I can find it. What you're going to see at the very top here, as I mentioned when you first started this video, these are the primary links. If I were to click on our practice, we are going to continue to see primary links. We're simply going to see it become part of a tree, just like if you were looking for files and you put files inside of a folder. In that tree, oops, sorry. Okay, so you're going to see our mission and our team are actually going to be children of our practice, as they are part of primary links. So let's go back to this page. Let's take a look at facial treatments. Facial treatments is actually going to be a child of spa treatments, which is also a child of the primary links. Yeah. So let's go ahead and take a look back here, and let's go to spa treatments. Facial treatments. And there we go. Okay, so what's happening here is that this is actually showing up under this hierarchy. Okay, so now let's take a look, one more time at menu settings. So all I would really have to do in order to make it show up under that menu is just to make sure that I'm under the primary links, which is up right here. We find primary links, and then we make sure that it's, you can see that it being a child of another one. So you can see our team right here, A. Michelle Ferguson. You can see that A. Michelle Ferguson is actually a child of our team, and it's just denoted by the dashes. Okay? All right. So now we're going to scroll down. You can add all of your content right here. You have a standard Tiny Mice WYSIWYG editor, which means what you see is what you get. So you could do things like adding lists and a couple of other things on here. It's pretty basic, but and then really you can bypass most of the other things. If you wanted to be to add a file attachment and that kind of thing to this, you could, but the theme right now actually really prohibits anything like that. It's not really going to show that type of content just because it wasn't called for the project. Press save and your content has been saved. Now if you want to create some content, you go back up to content management and you go down to where it says create content. And over here you're going to see that your different content types: blog entry, book page, employee, image, newsletter, page, spa treatment, story, and Three Rivers products. I may have mentioned this before, but spa treatments really it's actually something that needs to be deleted, so you don't really need to use that. But if you go to page, for example, I'm going to create a new page, and I'm going to see the same things that I just saw before. I might see menu settings, go to primary links. I'm going to make it a child of something. Maybe I'll make it come under our practice. There'll be a new page under our practice, and I can add a title, a menu link, a title, and then content. Okay? All right, so there you have it. There is your very brief introduction to how to add some content to your Drupal site.